The search for the remains of Malaysian flight MH370 goes on, and our reporter Daniel Stacey has been on board an Australian airplane today helping out with that search. Daniel, just first of all, can you give us a sense of what it was like on the journey and the sort of journey you've been on today?
Yes, I left at 6 a.m. this morning after waking up at 3 o'clock to get out to our military airbase near Perth called Pearce. And we were the first plane out this morning, which meant that we got a full search in before storms shut down the search at about midday. There was a lot of cloud cover and the seas were quite rough, but I think the thing to remember is that this part of the ocean is often like that, so this is not an unusual weather pattern, and that a lot of the search will encounter these kinds of conditions. I think, when you see the squalls and the swells out there, you really realise what a challenging job a lot of these aircraft will have to spot any debris in the two search areas which have now been established.
And the people you've been out with today, I guess this isn't normally what they're doing with their time. What's the mood been like with them? What would they normally be doing?
So most recently, the crew that I was with were doing some anti-submarine war games. And their role in the Australian military is to fly around Australia's territorial waters looking for enemy submarines and in a conflict scenario trying to blow up these submarines with torpedoes which they can carry on board. So they're very adept at spotting things in the sea, and there are some men on the flight today who have been doing that for over 20 years and had a wealth of wisdom about how to see small objects on the surface of very squally seas.
And how optimistic are they feeling now that the flight, the remains of the aeroplane can be found at all?
Look, I think there's something important here to distinguish, and that's the difference between satellite imagery and trying to search for these objects on the ground. The satellite imagery that we see is often a very edited version of what that part of the ocean looks like. It's the best weather conditions, the best sunlight, and I think it presents a picture of the ocean as being a place where debris could be quite easily spotted from the air.
Yeah.
The problem here is that it's not at all like that most of the days when you go out, and when it is, it's only that way for some small windows where the planes are out there. Some of them are only able to fly around the search site for 2 hours because it's so far away from land that by the time they get there, they've used up most of their fuel.
And were there any moments when you thought that something had been sighted? Could you actually see anything yourself from the aeroplane?
When I started looking out the windows when we arrived at the search area, I thought I was seeing things everywhere. You see a lot of white caps and a lot of things that look like they might be pieces of debris churning at the surface. But there are, at any one time, hundreds of white caps around you, and the plane is moving at 240 miles an hour. So I frankly was really mystified as to how these searchers were able to pinpoint bits of debris, but they have actually, this crew did on Monday spot 2 pieces of debris and mark them with a smoker flare.
And I guess it was a pretty bumpy flight if the weather was so stormy as well.
Yeah, we came through the cloud cover for the first time and we were immediately very close to the sea, perhaps 500 feet from the sea. And we had to, a number of times, actually go lower to just around 300 feet off the sea as the cloud cover got worse. After about 2 hours, when we were close to finishing our search, the Australian Maritime Safety Authority called off the search, so everyone went home, and most people didn't actually even start their searches.
Daniel, thanks very much for that first-hand account of the continuing search for MH370. Thank you.